Hello guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video I'm going to show you a short 15 to 20 minute clip where I had a discussion with Pradeep Ayyagari. Pradeep Ayyagari is a group product manager at Six Technologies, and I had a wonderful 1 hour long discussion with him about stakeholders management for product management. So in this video I'm going to do a short clip about it, and if you want to watch the whole video and the whole discussion, go check out the Lahar app. Description section में जाके link मिल जाएगा आपको. The Lahar app is a wonderful platform where we discuss about different topics and different sessions. So if you're interested, definitely go check it out. And I'm going to continue this series where I post some 15 to 20 minute long clips, and you can get a better idea what are the types of discussion we have there. So if you're interested, go check it out there. I'll also link to a WhatsApp group where we post different type of updates on product management. So if you're interested, definitely go check it out. See you there. Let me introduce to you Pradeep. Pradeep is a group product manager at Six Technologies, and previously he has worked with Swiggy, Cognizant, and Flipkart as well. So we have a lot of experience on the table. Yeah, so let's get started with the session. And my first question, stakeholders management for product managers, and I guess most of the audience might not know what stakeholder management is. So can you give us a brief idea what it is about?
Okay, perfect. Typically, as a product manager, you will be responsible for one or more products, right? And those products, while you are building them for the consumer or for a user base, internally or externally, whatever, right? There'll be a bunch of folks around you in the organization who would have some sort of a say in that product, right? Starts from your business leader. He could be the CEO. He could be the business head. To basically your CTO, your director, head of products, your basically designers. You can talk about all your folks who are on a day-to-day basis managing the business. You can talk about all the tech folks that will eventually work on this product, right? So all these together, whoever have a stake in the product that you are responsible for, collectively are known as stakeholders. And when you come to the stakeholder management, I think it's obvious that, it is the way you are able to navigate through this bunch of people to successfully launch your product and take it to the outcome that you desired out of it, right? So that essentially would put together what stakeholder management would mean for product management.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I searched on a blog and read about it on Google and other pages as well. So there was a complete guide, like a complete map out for what kind of different stakeholders are and what is their priority based on the different type of holdings in their company, and then the communication and certain type of things. So what it is about, if you can just explain us, is there any kind of some kind of procedure that we need to follow, like we follow while discovering new product or something like that?
Very good question. I think unlike your product process, right, stakeholder management can rarely be templatized because it deals with actually dealing with real people in real world, right? And there will be different sorts of people with different natures, with different motivations, with different sorts of inspirations and backgrounds, right, that you would have to understand and deal with, right? So typically, I would rarely use a templatized model for managing stakeholders. Rather, I would choose the word of saying empathizing, right? So just like you empathize with your consumer base or your user base for your product, as a product manager, I think your empathy begins with the stakeholders that you are trying to work with in launching this product, right? There will be different motivations for different audience or the different stakeholders that are basically involved, right? Say, suppose if we take an example, right? We can take an example of a designer, right, who is involved in the product, right? it is always a challenge that, every designer wants to put his best foot forward and do ground up innovation every time he's given an opportunity, right? More or less, you'll hardly meet a designer who will say, okay, these are standard components, let me just use these standard components and give you a design that is more functional, right? I haven't met a designer who ever said that. They would definitely choose to basically completely reimagine and redesign the wheel ground up. And how you basically deal with the designer in terms of sensitizing him with things that he should innovate on and things which he should not innovate on, and basically keeping him happy. At the same time, saying no to certain things which as a product manager will simply just double the effort for your engineering team to launch the product, right? If you take that as an example, right? Typically there is no standard template in dealing with a designer, right? So you have, and every designer is a unique person. Even at least when it comes to the business folks, you can still say that hey, you'll broadly meet a few category of people and a few types of people with few motivations. But if you look at designers, they're completely on the other end of the spectrum with, for lack of better word, shenanigans of their own, right? So as a product manager, you will have to work very closely with him to bring your product or your ideas to life. And at the same time, if they are going too much on the other end of reimagining or recreating the wheel or reinventing the wheel, in that case, you will have to basically manage that person in such a way that he's not demotivated, or he's not thinking that we are trying to curtail his innovation or anything in that space, right? Given the boundary conditions, and basically show him why some of these decisions that you are trying to put forward are more useful for the consumer, right? The designer always thinks that he's building for the consumer, and tech limitations are not something that he should worry about, but sometimes that's a challenge. If you take an example of a business head or a CEO whom you are dealing with, right? Their motivation is all about speed to market, right? They are always in the thing saying I thought this idea yesterday night in my dreams, and why is it not live today? Right? So essentially, these are the conversations that you are pretty much dealing with your business head. So you basically have to, build that rapport with that person, where, you have to sensitize him about the process that you are typically following in launching a product. And, you have to tell him that, this is what, okay, now that you have given me this idea, this is how I'm going to proceed with it. These are my broad timelines that I will try to stick with. And if everything goes well, this is how we'll take it live in so and so timelines, right? So the sooner you are able to give him this sort of a view, the more rest assured he will be. And, the more, and you keep on reiterating this fact, right? Every meeting you try and get back to the basics and say, hey, like I told you in the previous catch up of ours, these are the steps. We are at step 3, we are at step 4. We finished these things. These are the outcomes of those steps. Now we are at step 5, and we are trying to do ABCD things in this, and then we'll be taking it live pretty soon. So there will be some eager people of that sort. If you'll take an example of the highly enthusiastic business people who come to you with solutions. These are the most toughest stakeholders to deal with, right? And pretty much you will encounter these guys all across, right? So they never come to you with a problem. They won't tell you what is it they want to solve. They will rather come, they know the problem, but they've already solutionized it, and they will come to you with a solution, and they'll be like, I want this button over here, and I want that button to do ABCD things, and if it does that, my thing is solved. So typical policy of when new entrants of product management, etc., they fall for this trap. They'll be like, okay, so I've got the solution. All I need to do is just go and implement it. And the more often than not, that solution actually does not solve the problem. So you need to really sensitize these stakeholders about, like, try and come to you with problems, and let you do the due diligence on that problem, because the problem, typically the problem that the business owner sees is at a very superficial level, right? The more you go into the depth of the problem and you ask the 5 whys, why is this happening, why is this happening, and you keep repeating that thing, that's when you will actually identify what is the root cause of that problem. And then you will be able to then holistically solve that problem, and in turn solve other issues throughout your product that might be resulting in this issue, right? So you learn this particular aspect of product management with a little bit of experience. That you typically have to say, you encourage the person when he comes to you and he says, this is what I want. So you basically sometimes sit with him and you try to work him through the exercise of saying that, let's identify the root problem. Sometimes you take him through it. Sometimes you basically, if he's a really, headstrong or a really strong business owner who's like, just trying to push stuff towards you, etc., right? Then you basically use methodologies of saying, okay, I would want something written down from you, right? So you give him a business requirement document template and you tell him that, please fill this up for me, like where you basically put these things saying, what exactly is the problem you want to solve? Why would you want to solve it? If you solve this, what is the outcome that you expect to happen, etc., right? So when that person actually starts putting down his thoughts on paper, he actually starts seeing things in a way, right? And once he gives the requirements, you can then start conversations in asking him questions regarding whatever he has written down, etc., right? So that's one way of dealing with some types of stakeholders who are the solution oriented guys, right? So you would find different. So basically, in your product journey, right? You start out by learning product management, right? About products, how to build products, why you are building products, how to do data, how to do analytics, how to basically launch products, how to do GTM, how to anticipate, what will be the outcome of it, and how do you categorize your user base, etc. All these fundamentals of product management, once you have mastered it, right? Then you are pretty much left with the most toughest task of all, which is essentially to do with stakeholder management at the end of it, right? So the first 3-4 years of your life, you are pretty much dealing with product manager who is above you, whom you are working with, right? So he is typically taking care of all the stakeholder management, and he's coming and telling you what needs to be done, and both of you share a similar sort of a wavelength in terms of product thinking, so it will be very easier. The sooner you move to a PM2, PM3 level or a senior PM level, etc., right? So that moment onwards, you are essentially out there finding the problems and figuring out how to solve, identifying the problems or dealing directly with stakeholders, right? So at that point in time, the most challenging thing that remains is actually figuring out how to deal with stakeholders, right? And as you go into more senior levels, that is the only job you are left with, right? Because you are typically not, of course, you are involved in the product, you are reviewing it, you are looking at the metrics, you are helping the other folks in your organization solve for the product management. But once you move to a GPM level or a director level or a VP product or a CPO, then essentially you are left with stakeholder management as your 50 to 60% of your time. around 30% of your time doing your product management and 10% of your time, like, putting all the fires that arise out of both these activities, right? So that essentially, kind of sets the tone for what stakeholder management would mean like, right? Of course, if there are any, I haven't come across any specific templates of saying like, this is how you should do it. If you will ask me how exactly, like, how do you go about, empathizing with your stakeholders, or how do you do the best stakeholder management in general? I think the one word that it all boils down to is trust, right? More often than not, business and tech always don't see eye to eye. And product manager's job is to build trust on both sides, right? You have to build the trust on with your stakeholders that, the team, your tech team, will deliver the product as they are expecting, and solve for the problem that they are looking to solve for. At the same time, you build the trust in tech that, business has a plan of why they want this, right? Sometimes these are bizarre ideas that you would want to execute, and generally the tech folks would be like, this does not sound like something that our product needs, right? So sometimes you have to push for timelines, right? You have to say that, I really need this in 2-3 days because of some big bang launch or big marketing campaign or whatever, right? In that cases, if your tech team has trust in you, that, when you don't actually keep on pushing them to do stuff randomly, but you genuinely have some use case, that's when you would be able to manage both ends of the thing very effectively. Yeah.
That was a pretty detailed answer over there. Yeah.
So guys, how was the session? Did you like it? Don't forget to comment down below and tell me if you are excited about more of these sessions, and if you want to watch the full session, link in the description section as well. And we are coming up with new sessions every week, so don't forget to check out the Leher app and stay updated on the WhatsApp group. I also post on Twitter about the latest sessions, so if you want to check that out, go follow me on Twitter, link in the description section as well. Okay, so that's it for this video guys. Hope you like it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below, and thanks for watching.